Oh. So where you gonna look at these? All the night, we don't play. Nobody loves you. Yeah, we're good, man. It's a good with those little guns. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what?
Hmm? Yeah, good, man.
Yeah. You know that from Bravo.
Yeah, I chopped up a bratwurst.
Oh, you put him in there?
No, separately. When I ate mine,
Oh. Might just get it with plate.
yeah, I toasted it, nice and toasty.
No, just make it.
Yeah, but I made it nice and toasty, so that way you get a little bit of more texture, a little crunch.
You made it with the bread?
Yeah, with the last hamburger bun.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Well, you put it in the bread and then you put it in there.
No, I just put the bread in there.
Put the bread in there.
Yeah.
That's it.
What is good, people? Anybody that's in here, let's give it a few minutes. What is going on, people? Had a little problem with the link there. Let's see. Again, let's just give it a few moments, see if anybody joins. If my face looks frozen, it's because I'm trying to watch the YouTube chat. As you can see, I'm on a little solo mission right now. for the people that are here right now, I put a Zoom link in Discord if anybody wants to join. I got a few really cool things I want to talk about. I know Dookie and Gage have been working extremely hard on putting a lot of new things together that I think is really going to help us excel. Hunter should be getting up soon, so he'll probably be on here shortly. But a lot of big things are coming. I reached out to Degan, or anybody that has been kind of following the last few days who's been in chat. Animal is responsible for getting Ryan X Charles. Frog Hunter S. Thompson is responsible for getting on Danny Trejo. We got Dookie Love, who's in charge of trying to get on Craig Wright. That's going to be pretty epic if you could pull that off. And then I was in charge of trying to get onto Degan. Well, yesterday I reached out to Degan on Baymail, formally inviting him on to InTheBox Live. He said he would love to come on. We haven't discussed an exact time or day when he's going to be on. He did let me know kind of what his next free day off is. So I'm trying to get in contact with the boys, trying to find out what we could go ahead and do to accommodate that, which I'm sure we'll do whatever it takes to accommodate it. But I'm extremely excited about Degan. Another little secret is that I think the boys have been working with Jack C. Liu to get us a Relay X widget onto our website, so we can go ahead and start selling our merchandise that way. So I think that's pretty darn epic. Another thing we're gonna kind of touch on today, myself, Manifestable, Trisha One Love, we started working on this live stream idea, the 24-hour live stream. The first one was more like a challenge, is what we were talking about. It was more like an actual challenge just to complete the 24 hours. But we're talking about making something extremely, extremely, extremely successful, which I think we're gonna do really, really, really well with. So we started throwing out some feelers. We got prices wrong. Hey, bro, what's going on, brother? I'm on a little solo mission tonight. Talking about a few little things. So we started talking about the 24-hour stream. How can we do it, be successful, and not just have it be like a joke thing, kind of like a challenge? We wanted to go beyond the challenge of just a 24-hour stream. So we kind of started throwing out some feelers on Twetch, and sure enough, Cosmos Sagittarius not only joined our Discord group, but is going to volunteer 2 of his own hours of his time to our 24-hour live stream, which is coming up in probably like 16, 17 days. It's going to coincide with the BTC happening. It's not going to be about the BTC happening. It's like a BTC happening, not happening live stream. We plan on obviously making time when it comes for the happening. I think it's a once in a lifetime event. It's not going to happen again. That specific happening is never going to happen again. So that's pretty exciting. And yeah, so far we have Trisha One Love, we have Manifestable, we have Customized, and as well we have freaking Cosmos Sagittarius, which is going to do a 2-hour segment. So we got 8 hours booked uh, so far. And then with maybe like a 2-hour segment of In the Box, that's 10 hours. So we still have approximately 6 slots open or more. If you want to be a part of that, get in contact with either Manifestable at 9802 on Twitch. You can find him in our Discord as well, or you can get in contact with Trisha One Love, which is user 4336. And you can find her in Discord as well if you would like to be part of the 2-hour stream. By the way, Mike, thank you for being so active, brother. I thank you. Tell me how the quality is. Am I lagging? How does everything sound? Does it sound all right? But I'm gonna kind of keep on going on here. So it was pretty cool. We got Cosmos to join the Discord, and what it's he's such a humble guy, so modest and so willing to just get in contact with the BSV community, which I think is one of the most important things. And we've had some amazing topics. So I really can't imagine what he's going to do for his 2 hours. I think that he's probably excited about it as well. Customized, if you're out here somewhere, I haven't seen you on our Discord. Get in contact with me on Twitch somehow. Let's get you in that Discord because I want to set you up for your 2-hour slot in there. So that is going to be pretty darn ambitious. Again, we are going to have Degan on within the next few days. He's going to be on probably close to May 4th for Star Wars Day. I'm very, very excited about that. The BSV community is just such a great community. They're just so willing to go ahead and reach right back out. If you reach out to some of these people that you really, really enjoy, they're so willing to just respond, and they're just so smart. And when it comes to stuff, if you have a technical question, don't be afraid to ask some of these people. They're so willing to help in educating you. So again, big things on the website, big things on the 24-hour live stream that's going to be coming up. Really looking forward to that, and know that Gage and Dookie were working like freaking like workhorses, or politically correct terms. They were definitely working like workhorses today. So big shout outs to them. Animal, I hope everything is all right. I hope everything is good. I know you had to take the night off. Dookie, I hope you're doing all right as well. Hunter, if you hear me, I'm would love for you to join the chat as well. Thought we had a lot of good topics to cover. Anybody out in the chat? Again, if you want to join, I think I put a Discord. In the Discord, I put a link. So if you want to go ahead and join in, please feel free to. I had made a previous stream to this, and again, Animal is our executive producer, and every single day I give thanks that we have somebody like him on here, because he just makes it so professional, so perfect. But one cool topic that I was talking about with Cosmos is that BSV is more than just an investment. So there's more use cases for BSV than any other coin. And all coins are literally just used for trading. We were also talking about how it is almost, and again, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. It was an amazing conversation, and I can't wait till he comes on and does his own thing. But looking at BSV only as an investment is not the right thing to do, in my opinion. You need to look at BSV as an investment, yet as a use case as well. Because if you're, again, the type of consumer that just wants to spend $10 because you want to buy a t-shirt, or you want to buy some money to go ahead, some BSV to go ahead and Twetch, there's more use cases for BSV than anything else. We were talking about kind of like the digital dollar and how far off uh, do you guys think that we are from a digital dollar? And he made a great point that if a digital dollar or something to that effect gets implemented, that it would be such an advantage for BSV because it's the only coin that could do what it can. And I think if people are forced into a digital dollar, they will be more likely uh, they will more likely look for an alternative currency that they could use as opposed to a digital dollar. I mean, if your paper dollar crashed, why wouldn't your digital dollar crash? Um, so I really been thinking about that. And if you really want to have mass adoption across the entire world, there would have to be internet in every nook and cranny of the world, right? If BSV was to get implemented, or digital currency was to get implemented as a norm, you would almost have like maybe just like kind of like people have the little hardware ledgers. Maybe you just come across, and every single store is going to have Wi-Fi, so you come in, use your little wallet, and there you go. You either use digital dollar, you go to the gas pump. I remember when mobile came out with the speed the speed pay. It was a little thing that had like a little crystal in it, and you swipe it across, and boom, you're paying with essentially digital currency. And it was like, wow, so cool. Like back in the day, you don't need a credit card, you don't need cash, you don't need anything. You just walk up to the pump and swipe that little thing. I do see, again, and I'm just on a rant today because I don't have anybody else with me. And for the, you know, for Mike, the only person that's probably in here right now, thank you so much for sticking along. But I know today's the last stream before we stop until Monday. So Monday will be the next stream after today. I just didn't want it there not to be any content. So for a digital dollar, something of that effect, everybody would have to have that specific hardware, or everybody would have to have some type of phone or some type of a mobile device, and then access to internet. So every single shop period would have to have probably some type of public or Wi-Fi, or a Wi-Fi made specifically for pay if that person doesn't have data in there or the connection's bad. So by cryptocurrency going full scale, whether it's at first a digital dollar, right? Because it's what the government wants to push, it's what they want. So they're gonna push what they want. But in order for that to work, again, you're gonna need internet everywhere. I think one positive consequence that's gonna come from it, it's probably gonna make internet way cheaper for the masses, if not free. But I do see it getting a lot cheaper, and I'm not one of those, oh, I demand free internet, it's a human right. No, I pay pretty good money for my fucking internet, but I think that even something like that would drive down the cost. But my main question, Mike, if you're listening, how long before a digital dollar? Or if you are in here and you just don't want to kind of talk or anything right now, smash like, subscribe right quick. We will be here for you every Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., whether it's one of us or all four of us. And I'm sure, hopefully, Hunter will jump on soon. But for the people joining right now, all I'm wondering is how long before there's a digital dollar? And once there is a digital dollar, how how easy is the mass adoption going to be for BSV in regards to that? There was great talks in regards to it that you know, once the digital dollar comes out, it's going to be easier for BSV to compete. I want to know from you guys. Mike, aka The Price is Wrong, says, look at Zoot's wallet. Supposedly you can use it wherever Apple Pay is accepted and can fill it with BSV. Whoa, that's phenomenal. Let me see if I could share screen from here because I'm just chilling in the backyard. I'm just hanging out here. So if you see my face freeze up, it's because I'm on the tablet. If I switch off, it freezes my face. So maybe next time I'll try to go like that when I go. But let me see if yeah, I can screen share. So let's look that up. Let's check out Zoot's wallet. Sweet, I could pull up Twetch as well. So that sounds awesome. I haven't heard of that. Is BSV shadow banning Zoot's wallet? That sounds amazing. So you're telling me I could put BSV in here and spend it like normal? Wherever Apple Pay is accepted? Let's check this out. All right. Oh, we got somebody joining the stream. Let's see. Is it a raider? Is it somebody trying to raid my freaking party, or is it somebody else? Let's see. Who do we got here? Oh, sweet. Cosmos Sagittarius. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you, Andreas?
Fantastic. I was actually just talking about the amazing conversation we had earlier and how it like just left me like I haven't stopped thinking about it. And I wanted to bring it up today, and I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I had a fun time talking earlier. I'm glad we're so much on the same page about things.
Definitely. 100%. How do you feel about your little segment that you're going to have for the 2-hour live stream? You think we could pull it off? You think we're going to be, does it look like we're going to be organized enough? You've seen a little bit of the inside secrets.
Well, I think it'll be fine. I mean, it doesn't seem like there are any standards, so.
You're right.
I mean, I would prefer to have a host with me because I'm not very good at just talking by myself. But so maybe you could join me for my 2 hours.
Whoever you pick, Cosmos, is happy with me. It's yours. You have creative control. If you decide to pick me, I would take that as a high honor.
Okay, sure. Well, I'll keep it a secret until the time comes.
Cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I think now that people see that one of the biggest rock stars in the BSV community is gonna be on that ambitious thing that InTheBox is trying to do with that 24-hour, I think more people are gonna want a segment now just to say like I was there with the Bitcoin Emperor.
Oh my God. It feels so weird to be popular. I was always well, when I was in school, mostly people just thought I was really weird.
Weird is good. Weird is like rebel nowadays. Like I've never idolized like celebrities or anything like that. I've never been into like the Hollywood thing.
Oh yeah, well I always agreed with that, but I didn't think that I was going to be popular because of it.
And I think it's if people like yourself would be looked at just like people in Hollywood, like people that actually put facts, actually put work behind their science and don't just virtue signal and pretend that they know, or they're just kind of idolized or whatever because they're celebrities and they did Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, if they looked at more people like yourself that are trying to change the world in a better way and are actually doing something about it, like what we were talking earlier with the Boost Pal, how you were telling me, and please correct me at any point if I'm wrong or if I misunderstood. Like earlier, you were saying that you had worked on other projects before, but you had never really completed them, and that now with Boost Pal, it's like your first real project that you feel like you're getting to complete. And how good does that feel?
Well, yes, it feels great, and well, I'm just trying to get it working. I'm kind of anxious. I'll be kind of anxious until it's just running, but yeah, I mean, I think that we'll get it working, and it's definitely going to be worth it. And yeah, when I first got into Bitcoin, well, ever since I've been in Bitcoin, I always saw the coin itself as being the real value. And I don't think that in general it's possible to make a Bitcoin business that's better than Bitcoin. Not that we shouldn't have them, but like I didn't, like I was always trying to just sort of find a, but we had a problem, which is that almost nobody in Bitcoin was doing anything remotely good. And so it was really hard for me to find jobs that were worthwhile. So I worked for a number of Bitcoin startups, but they were all poorly designed in one way or another, and they all just kind of fell apart before really accomplishing anything. And this has to do with not being properly aligned to Bitcoin itself. So I don't think that you can have. So, like for example, if the first company I was with was called Monero, and that has nothing to do with Monero. It's spelled differently, but they were just basically making basic Bitcoin stuff. So they were going to do an online wallet, well, kind of like what Money Button is doing now, but they did not want to take a risk on the coin. So the business was not in any way designed around holding Bitcoins itself. And that meant that it wasn't really, it wasn't really aligned to the success of Bitcoin. And the people who were creating the business, they were kind of like serial startup people. So they were kind of like Silicon Valley types, although that's not where they were from. It was kind of like that kind of culture. And so
speaking of that culture, did they have that mentality of wanting to just get a startup, having it blow up and then sell it, or were they in it for the long run?
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think they were in it for the long term. I think that they wanted, Bitcoin was just kind of like the latest cool thing. So they wanted to do that. And
they wanted to get bought out by Google, essentially, right?
Well, I don't know exactly what they were thinking, but I mean, I think that that's kind of
that's always like the goal, right? The most money, biggest company buy you out, right?
Yeah, I think that that's kind of the idea, or do an IPO. I mean, I don't really know what their plan was because I was just an employee, but like they would have
Uh-huh.
been a lot more successful if they had just had the idea that Bitcoin was going to be successful, and they were basically working with that, and not doing the normal startup thing. So anyway, like anyway, what ultimately happened is they ran out of money before figuring out what they wanted to focus on, and that wouldn't really have happened if they had been invested in Bitcoin, because while they were trying to figure out what to do, they would have been getting a lot wealthier because of the coins. So
Yep.
They like you a function of money is to is your risk off, right? So when you have cash, that's when you're safe.
Yes.
And then when you invest in the
Safe as in
business,
stability, right? No volatility, right? Like
yeah.
you're stable. You
Well,
don't have,
I
you
mean,
don't
I
have to
don't
worry
think,
about.
but that's how people need to treat Bitcoin.
Yes.
So I don't think volatility means unsafe. I think it just means, or I should say, I think Bitcoin's volatility is not unsafe. Volatility means that
Correct.
you need to be, you might need to wait
Ready for
a
it.
while, but it doesn't mean Bitcoin is in danger of dying. Whereas with any
Correct. Well,
Bitcoin business,
I remember Elon Musk making a Twetch maybe like a month or two ago. And his motto was actually volatility is our business.
yeah, okay, great.
So
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I didn't see that
how
one, but
how do you, yeah, I remember. I try to remember as many. There's a lot of things I'll forget, right? Because I guess I try to fill my brain with things to me that are important, and that to me sounded like a very important statement that he made. I don't know if I got overlooked, but I remember he said something to the effect of volatility is like our business.
yeah,
So
I mean that.
like when you hear a comment like that, no matter who it comes from, how do you feel about that, for example?
Well, I mean,
How
I
does it
think that
sound as a start?
I think that proves his business is aligned with Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
he wants to benefit from what Bitcoin offers him, which I think
Yeah.
is great, because the benefits of Bitcoin are great, and if you're just better off if you're open to them. So, I mean, one of the arguments that people make about Bitcoin to me from the fiat world is that people don't like the volatility, and it's just, I don't know, they never listen. But it's really better if you can accept the volatility. It means that you need to be able to plan ahead a little bit, and you need to be able to ensure that you can survive through hard times every so often. But
Yeah.
if you can do that, then what you get out of Bitcoin is, well, much better than, I mean, it's you can't get what you can get out of Bitcoin in any other way. I mean, what you get with Bitcoin is a much a better organized group of people that are all working to benefit each other.
Correct.
And that's better. Like you just don't get that. You don't get that any other way.
I definitely agree. And you want your collaborative unit to be the strongest unit. So even though there's competition amongst everybody in the Bitcoin community, I'm sure there's a lot of unity and a lot of teamwork as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that everyone, a good portfolio in Bitcoin would have Bitcoin, and it would have some Bitcoin business.
Yeah.
And so everyone is both, right? Because the businesses are more in competition with each other, whereas the coin, that's all just kind of cooperative. And since they both serve different purposes, you want to find the optimal balance between them. But
now I know and investment, like the word investment always comes up, right? And investment obviously could be used in different contexts, right? So investment, it could be money that you're putting in BSV because you feel like it's going to do well in the future. So almost like a hodl mentality, right? So you buy some to invest because you think it's going to do well price-wise, right? But beyond the investment, there's also the use for it, right? So, for example, like I had told you earlier, my biggest use case right now for this Twetch, right? Uh, we started doing our little t-shirt thing. So we're actually trying to get into the BSV economy, knowing that we have to make a certain amount. And then at one point, we will have to take out some fiat or whatever the case is, or use one of those cards that you were talking about to pay some of the things. Like, for example, Zoom Premium, right? It's like $30 a month with all the features that we have. And if you want to use BSV, you have to, with the BSV that you collected from your donations or, you know, merchandise, whatever the case is, you do have to exit some of that out. Do you think that's a bad thing? Should a business that is trying to, for example, should a business that's trying to accept BSV as their main currency, should they feel bad about having to pay their Zoom in fiat as opposed to being able to pay it right now in BSV?
No, I mean, people should prefer to pay in dollars, in fiat, because fiat is the worse money. So you should want to get rid of dollars. But, you know, conversely, people should also want to earn Bitcoins. And if Zoom doesn't want to do that, then they're a sucker. So you want to get rid of your you want to get rid of your dollars on Zoom and keep your Bitcoins. But somebody smart will say, pay me in Bitcoin. I'm not interested in dollars. So
correct.
I mean, now I had kind of a problem with this earlier because I tried to say that in some of my earlier articles back in BTC days, and they have been used to promote the BTC hodling digital gold cult that they have now. And so if you go back and read some of my old articles, what I was trying to say was what I just said now, but I didn't really understand that there was going to be this this hodling cult getting started around then. And to me, the idea of people believing that they need to hodl Bitcoins when there's no possibility of anyone ever being able to spend them, to me, that seems like an absurd idea. So I didn't think that would really happen. And also going back to using Bitcoins. So I think that holding Bitcoins is using, and spending is when you're done using Bitcoins. And to me, it's when the coins are in your portfolio that they are serving your needs. you don't always, you don't, like, you can't, I mean, if something really is money, you can't really only hold it, because you need stuff other than money at some point. So to me, like, what people need to try harder to earn Bitcoins than they do to earn dollars, because,
Yeah.
and they should be willing to, because Bitcoins are better. But you also
So-
need to offer people something better in order for people to want to spend Bitcoins.
Correct. Correct. So for example, you come out with a great brand new invention, right? Whatever the case is. I can't think of anything right now. But as that business model, right? You come up with an invention, you want to make BSV your main currency, right? So let's say you're taking 60% of your orders in BSV, right? And 40% of it is coming through in fiat. But if you know that for example, your next quarter, you're going to need X amount of dollars in fiat, and the 40% that you're producing is not enough, as a company, you also need to be smart enough when to exit out a little bit of that BSV that you've taken sales in, to be able to continue on in your next quarter when it comes, or next month when it comes to, for example, having to make those payments in BSV, because Zoom, they're suckers. So they want dollars, they don't want BSV.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you also have to be smart as a company then, right? Because you want to make sure that you're exiting enough BSV so you can pay the bills and still survive as a company, right?
Well, yeah, investment is just it's a strategy game. It's like civilization, right? So you need to, the strategy is based on how to succeed when you have to think about different time scales at the same time, because there's always immediate problems that you need to deal with, and then there's farther out problems that are going to get you if you don't prepare for them now, and if you don't do it right, then your business fails. And while we have a situation where there's competing currencies, the strategy game is more difficult for everybody. So when we move to a system with one money, that solves a lot of problems. But yeah, for now, things are more difficult. Like money really, it solves a problem of economic coordination. So it allows people to produce for each other in a way that everybody's desires are met, or at least optimally. When we have two monies, then people can't provide for each other as easily. So what you're talking about is sort of the general, it's just that general problem.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the stigma that has always come with a one world currency? And it's funny that I was thinking about it, because I know we talked about it briefly earlier, that you don't believe in government, right? You believe in more, like you said, for example, with your Boost Pal system, right? A Boost Pal can, for example, help run a country better than a government can. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because that was so cool. The way you were talking about that earlier. That was like prolific.
Okay, well, I would rather not say too much, because I would rather just everybody start using Boost before they figure out what they can do with it. But yeah, I'm an anarcho-capitalist, and that means that I think there are business models for all services that people believe can only be provided by government. So we've had a big problem with anarchists in Bitcoin, which is that got to be a lot of anarchists in Bitcoin, but most of them weren't really doing anything to try to make the world better. They've just been kind of like pretending that the government doesn't exist, right? But the only thing we can do in Bitcoin to be successful is to provide things that other people want to pay for.
That they might not be able to get with fiat, right?
Yeah. And so so I think that we should be thinking about potential business models that can replace governments, but we should not pretend that governments are not real, currently as things are now. So as for the boost system,
Yes.
the way to, well, first of all, let me just quick explain it. It's a protocol for buying proof of work from Bitcoin miners that can be attached to any message using a Bitcoin transaction. So I've adapted Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm for other purposes, and you can encode a job. You can encode a work puzzle in a Bitcoin output, and then a miner can find a nonce that is the solution to the work puzzle, and that will allow them to redeem the Bitcoins in the output. And the puzzle is designed to replicate Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm, which means that all of the same machines that are used for mining Bitcoins can also be used to provide boost. And we can use boost as an upvoting system and spam filter. And when the boost output is redeemed, we can construct a string from the information in the output and input, which has a hash that satisfies a given difficulty target. And there is a hash in the string, and the hash can be anything. So what would normally be the previous block hash in a Bitcoin header, now it just is whatever you want in Boost. So there can be a message in a social network or whatever. The message can it can come from anywhere, and the hash would appear in the Boost output and be part of this proof of work string. And this can be verified easily by anybody. And when we use this as an upvote system, there is a game that is about finding the optimal balance between the potential gain and the loss of energy. So every
Good night, babe.
Every time you buy Boost, you create a proof that energy was spent, and you have to spend that,
and it was put towards that specific piece of data,
right?
Right.
And so there's a strategy game there, because you have to decide what rank you can get among all messages, and what is the best, what rank gives you the best gain for loss, right?
Correct.
And so the way that you win this game is by telling people good advice. And you want to attain the rank such that the way that you benefit is people will read your advice, and the higher rank you get, the more people will read it. And if they follow the advice and society is better as a result of that, then you have benefited. And so you want to benefit from that better than what you lose from spending energy. And this system can't be gamed. So it's not like the Reddit upvote system, and it's not like Twitter trends.
Yes.
If you try to game it, other people can spend more energy. And it's better to say good things. It's better to give genuinely good advice, because there's less risk from that. If you,
Yes. And
the risk of benefiting from manipulation is greater than the risk of benefiting from stuff that's just good.
I think Twetch is like a proof of concept on that. Let me ask you, Golden Yogi, by the way, live with us in the box sporadically. I mean, just to what Cosmos is saying right now, without the boosting system, for example, like there's a couple trolls on Twetch, right? But really, how much engagement are they getting on their posts? And do you think they're not getting any engagement on their posts, whether it's a like, a branch, a comment, because they're trolls and it's not valuable on Twitch? And they even have to pay more now to put out to mention somebody. How do you feel about that? And even seeing like a boost implementation being done on that, like what do you think about the whole thing?
It's all good. I mean, the bottom line is people, the market, whatever you want to call it, everyone's going to create consensus over time, whether in little pockets or whatever, of what they like and what they accept and what they want to follow, what they want to, whatever. It's all about the participation at that level. And, if the trolls think they're coming in and they're going to try and troll the way they do before, they're going to see, well, okay, it's worth it to me to spend this much money, just like it's worth it for people, for companies to send those mailers of garbage, stuff that you still get in the mail. Like they're still paying for that, even though they know that 80% of it's getting thrown in the recycle bin or garbage, but they're hedging on whatever that percentage of people that do open it up. Like that's their effective marketing still. So it's fine. It at least is changing the game up a little bit, because I remember hearing about this sort of hack with just regular snail mail that say like, credit card, offers, okay, that they always have this pre-metered envelope inside, right? But if you go and you return it and don't fill out anything, but you put in like some wooden shims, okay, the way it works is they already have an account with the United States Postal Service. And so as they get those back, the Postal Service is going to weigh it and charge them accordingly. So if you put these like wooden shims in there, it's going to increase the weight of it, and then they're going to start, and it was just sort of this like movement, like in the same way of having a paywall, of,
Yeah, or even now, like with Boost Pal, those spam. If you want to send out 1 million spam messages, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Right, it costs you per person you're sending it to, versus
now if you're sending out a small mailer of good content, and your content is getting boosted, that's going to get people more interested. So yeah, the spam, it's definitely going to help with spam if you choose to set your inbox as weighted. Like for example, Baymail, you can change it whether it's the value, right? So
Right.
it shows you the most amount of money that somebody did. But I think now they changed it. It's only 2 cents now, or you could pay or whatever the case is. But
And can you whitelist too?
on Baymail,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna have to
You know, because
really delve into some Baymail in the next couple of days.
I haven't actually used it because there's
Oh,
a bunch of solutions, you know, like already for you know, sending BSV, whether it's we're, you know, just tagging somebody in Twetch or
Well, the cool thing about it,
capture.
it's more email. It's more
Okay.
private, I guess. So it's like the message is encrypted, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, anybody here, please. I don't want to sound dumb, but the message is encrypted, and they're essentially just the interface, kind of like Twetch is the interface to Bitcoin, right? So whatever you post on Twetch goes to Bitcoin, and then Twetch is like the film developer that shows you in a visual way what you posted on there. So with Baymail, it's just like email, so it means it's private. And one of the big things I would have loved to see was an integration between Baymail and Twetch, because I think that will jump the usage of Baymail up tremendous. And I think users would love that experience, but I'm sure they got something great coming up their sleeves.
Right. I'll have to take another look because I do like that. Ultimately, in concept, personally, I've never felt that abused as a free tool user of, like, you know, say Google products or whatever. Like, in fact, I would even go to say that I don't mind being advertised to, because they're looking at what I look into, and sometimes there have been things that I get that I may not have found had had they not targeted me. In fact, I feel like I feel like it's better ad targeting than other older methods.
Cosmos, let me ask you a quick question if you're still around. I think you're still here in the chat.
Yeah.
As to what Golden Yogi said right now, he said, I don't mind using Google Mail because the data intrusion doesn't bother him that much, because he feels like he gets good targeted ads. What would you have to say about that? And why?
Well, there's some things.
Do you agree, or do you have an argument against that?
Well, I mean, I think that it's there's some things that you don't want Google to know.
Sure.
And they don't really give you the option for that. They want to know everything they can about you, so that they can predict everything that you'll do. And with business model, well, the business model of most of these information companies now is that the users are the product. So the advertiser is the real customer. And I think it's better to be the customer than the product. But I mean, I don't think that we will we'll get rid of ads, and I don't think that we'll get rid of the idea that that companies will want to figure out what people will want to see. But
hey, Daniel, I'm curious what you think about the idea behind basic attention token, in that paying people for their attention, or in some kind of compensation for your attention.
Well, I don't think that that is as good as using proof of work, because I think that you can there's a there's a way to game the system when you're getting paid for attention, because you can accept the money without having any intention of understanding what you're looking at. So when you use Boost with Baymail, your incentive is to set the difficulty at the level where you receive as much information as you have time to read. So if you send somebody a Baymail, you can be pretty sure that what you send them is going to be read. Whereas if you you pay, a person is demanding money to receive a Baymail, they might just be taking the money without reading it. So I think that I think that proof of work is better for getting attention than paying people.
What about proof of time?
What is the, I mean, what is the definition of proof of time?
Well, I'm just saying, if somebody's giving you their, like, time is precious. So if somebody's giving 5 minutes of their time to listen, even if they're only receiving it subconsciously, even if they're halfway tuning in and halfway tuning out, which is what we do with most advertisements anyway. I think that would be valuable to most bigger corporate, well, I don't know, or just bigger businesses that are trying to get you to believe in what they believe in, or psychologically manipulate you or whatever.
Well, but that's sort of the person reading the advertisement is giving their time, but so it really should be the advertiser who's demonstrating opportunity cost for the person being advertised to, because and then they'll want to pay attention. It's because it's rational to pay more attention to messages that demonstrate more opportunity cost. So I think with Boost, you'll get people who want to pay attention and who will be thinking a lot about what you say. Whereas with advertisement, people will usually be trying to ignore whatever you're showing them.
Right. True. I
So
guess
there's-
that's what they want. They want customers or people to tune in and want what they have to sell. So that's the goal for them, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think ultimately, I agree with you, Daniel, on you don't really know what, like, say, like a Google is collecting. But my whole point in that was that from what I've experienced so far, it's given me more enrichment than tyranny. And
well, you don't really know that, though. I mean, they get every action that you take on Facebook or in Google's website gives them information that tells them how to simulate you. And
but it must be upkept, because the factor of change in one's behavior varies over time.
Well,
But the thing about Google is they literally listen all day long. I don't know if it's a conspiracy or not, or if anybody could disagree with me, but you could be talking about something you haven't talked for in years. For example, you start talking about NES games, right? Because I was planning on playing a little retro gaming. All of a sudden, my YouTube channel was everything in my freaking YouTube channel now is NES. So it does change and it does evolve with you every second, probably even while you're sleeping.
Yeah, it's not that, I don't think that's ever been provable, but ultimately, from my perspective that I carry, I don't really give a crap, because the universe is watching and listening to everything I do. When I'm jacking off, when I'm taking a dump, whatever, they're watching. There's angels and whatever things, like seeing everything. So
yeah, but there's a difference. There's a difference between a deity and man seeing that.
yeah, I mean, the universe isn't like a predator that's
yeah.
going to deliberately appear like something nice,
This
and
is
then
man looking through your DMs. If you look on the web, it's not hard to find dozens of articles where
No, I know.
Twitter employees
I've
are
done the
going through your
tests.
DMs and they're watching you jack off. They're watching you do this. They're watching you. They are watching. Whether you think, hey, it doesn't affect me, but if you have your little camera on at night, you know, you give them all types of permissions to your life. And trust me, they're collecting at all times. Hunter, weren't you just telling me the other day about a wedding picture?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me the story about that? That was pretty interesting. I like that one. That was dope.
Well, I've been trying to, ever since the Cambridge Analytics and these type of things that have come out with Facebook. I got off a while ago, a couple of years ago, but one of the things that helped me make that decision was my sister-in-law found a picture of me and my wife's wedding, which is a very, very special moment. Mahayogi, Amma was performing that wedding. It was a very beautiful picture, and somebody grabbed it off Facebook and used it for their wedding site. So this was one of the reasons.
I actually have the same thing. I have this, so my soon-to-be ex-wife, or divorce should be final next week. So wedding to divorce, but she's a pretty well-known kirtan artist. Okay, so one of her albums, on one of the covers, it had me and her holding our son, and some Sikhs used that picture of me holding my baby son as in this meme of. It was really hilarious, but it got used pretty largely. It had something to do with like trusting men with beards. But like all of a sudden, like it was, because for the Sikh perspective, it's like the identity is in the turban and beard so much. And so and perhaps they enjoyed that they were able to find like a Caucasian Sikh who was representing that. That they felt like maybe that was stronger message for them. But yeah, they just pulled it off of the net. I want to clarify, ultimately I want us to move into these situations where we control our data more, because I would prefer, ultimately, if given the choice, to have all of my likes and whatnot stored on chain to where I can give permission to entities if I choose to do that, and they can then pour through that, and then I can put on like what is, you can put on levels of what is allowed. Like this is absolutely.
But it goes, Yogi, it goes even deeper than that. For example, right now, let's say you say something, right, that some of these gatekeepers don't like, right, and you get banned off of this social media site. Does your data come with you?
Oh, of course not. It doesn't right now. But what I'm
so
saying.
Let's say right now you go nuts, right, and you post a bunch of not safe for work pictures on Twetch, and you get banned from Twetch. Does your data come with you?
Well, your data is not even yours on Twetch, but because it's just on the blockchain, so it's not really yours.
Well, it is yours because you signed for that post, and it's on the blockchain. It belongs to you. So let's say one night you go crazy, right, and you go on some crazy rant or whatever, post some illicit pictures, and you get banned off Twitch. That will always be on the blockchain. And if you get banned, not only can you take your data that you posted on the blockchain and still view that data, but you can even take your followers that are still, you can still have that information of having your followers. So if you get banned tomorrow for talking holistic medicine, right?
Yeah.
Which is a big factor for banning people right now on Twitter and on Facebook and all types of stuff like that, right? They're holistic people are not very accepted by the mainstream, right? Mainstream is more about vaccines, not vitamins, right? So what if you get banned tomorrow? What happens to your entire following?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. That's why I'm clarifying that I don't want anyone to really interpret that I'm like pro Google or anything like that. I'm just saying that I feel like you know, there's a lot of potential of what could happen, and there have been certain things that, you know, I mean, we've seen YouTube put strikes against, you know,
We got one for a meme. We
Oh, you
got
did?
one for
I
a
mean,
meme.
even and I follow everybody, like, you know, because I'm even at this point in time, I'm chain agnostic until somebody actually gets adopted. And
I wanted to ask you real quick because to back up just a second, because from what just to make sure my understanding is right, is it kind of like this surrender of like they're doing what they're doing, there's no hiding place from the Father of creation, it's just all unfolding as it should, and I'm unfolding as I should, and it's just happening, and what can I do besides just do my best type mentality?
The way I look at life is my only job in life is to follow my highest excitement in every moment. And the universe will move me in exactly where I need to be, because that's the universe speaking to me. And anytime I feel
what's
fear.
your definement for you?
Excuse me?
I would just say when you said excitement, I just wanted to get that for you, your definition of that when you say follow my excitement.
What is the most exciting thing I could be doing right now? Like when a feeling of like, oh, I want some ice cream, go, wow, yeah, like I really actually want some ice cream right now. Like, okay, I'm gonna go get some ice cream, because it may not even be about the ice cream, but about the journey that gets you to the ice cream could take you one step closer to the thing that you've actually been like calling in. So in listening to each one of those and following through on it, you are doing your part in the co-creation. And likewise, I always zoom out. You know, this is just a life. It's
what would you say to people that a dharma excites them, or things that are illegal, if that excites them? What would you say to that?
That are illegal? Is that what you said, illegal?
Yeah, yes, just kind of like, let's say, because you know the word adharmic, right? Obviously, dharma,
like
adharma.
Meaning like not dharmic, like more like
yes, yeah, exactly. Adharma, yes.
Dharmas in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm not saying any right's wrong, but when you say excitement, I think people could get excited by a lot of things that aren't really good for other people. Say excites me to do this, but it might be bad for you.
Well, I look at it this way:
curious.
is that this whole experiment of life that we live in is okay. Let's first put it this. I want to premise it from just again, from my perspective. We're in the physical realm now. When we are in the non-physical, everything is perfect. There is no Maya. There is no illusion of separation. Everything is moving in perfect flow. So sometimes that gets boring. So we opt to go on some kind of ride that could scare the shit out of you. And so the most popular rides on this planet are unworthiness and lack. And so we come in and we opt in to that experience so that we can realize ourselves even greater through that experience. Because like they, you know, the comment of how do you recognize joy without the pain?
Just think about Pennywise the clown. Okay, that's Google.
Yeah.
Pennywise can look into your mind and can feed you hallucinations, and it acts like a lure until it reveals its true self. And ultimately it's a predator, because it turns you into a product. So
that can be their goal, but again, I just feel like it depends on how I feel about it at the moment. And this is my I guess I may have a more unique perspective on it, because again, I really, really try not to take anything in this life seriously. It's way too short and I want to have fun. So, you know, if somebody wants to try and, you know, be a predator to me, that's fine. Because I've had that. I mean, when I consider what Google's doing versus like what I grew up with, like, sure, I'll take that any day. You know, like.
But if there's a better choice, why take either or?
Well,
now.
because
that
because
we're in
there's
this
not a
spot.
fully
Like,
vetted.
and obviously you're hip and you're wise. Obviously, it's the right thing to do. So let me ask you something. Like, for example, right? You're gonna continue post on Twitter. We're obviously posting this on YouTube right now, right?
Right.
I mean, which is Google, right? But how about taking it as an approach to where you, for example, like Josh Hensley uses his Twetch and then uses it to promote his Twitter from there. And then hopefully in the future, wean off of big conglomerates like that completely. Do you,
Yeah.
do
No,
you, do you
no,
see
believe
it
me, again,
happening?
I want to be, no, I want to be clear. Like, we should be pivoting towards those tools, and we are. And that's the whole thing is I just personally, anyone has their choice in how they want to have their perspective, and they're going to have all the emotional effects from that perspective as well. I really prefer for myself to not go through as much fear if it's really not necessary. Okay. And again, so that's just, you know, and I appreciate anyone else's. I'm not going to tell anybody that they're wrong. It's just how I want to do it. And so in the meantime, yeah, I'm going to keep talking about what I think is good, you know, like library. I think that's a great platform, you know, instead of YouTube. It, you know,
What is it called?
it runs on proof of work. I feel like they could probably port it to BSV if they chose to.
And what is it called? Library?
Library, yeah. I mean,
Daniel,
like,
have you ever heard of library? I haven't
No,
heard of it.
what is the, how can I check it out?
the easiest way I know is go to CoinMarketCap and type in LBC for their coin, which is the library credits. And then it'll bring up that page, which will have the website. That's just the easiest way I could think of to say, because I don't remember their
So
URL.
it's kind of like a Steam, right? Like if you put
Yeah,
out
yeah.
like
It's
a
like a
Steam
Steam.
and
It's
you
like
get Steam dollars or Steam
exactly.
power
Well,
or whatever.
yeah, but it didn't have the whaled, like the early whale advantage that Steam was so wrecked with. And here's the unique thing too that I like on, you don't have to be the content creator in library. You can also choose to stake your coins on someone else's video that you think is going to get a lot of liking, that are going to get a lot of views, and your you know, you earn credits, more credits that way.
That's interesting for sure.
LBRY, yeah, that's correct. And like Alex Jones, who was kicked off of YouTube at least a couple years ago for being so hyperbolic in his statements against the U.S. government and whatnot, he's completely pivoted over to library. There was it was a big move, like in the last 6 to 9 months when YouTube started striking so many crypto YouTubers, right? And because like pretty much everybody, I mean, even like guys like Ivan on Tech, who keeps a pretty decent educational value, you know, we're getting strikes.
But BSV is already going to solve that. Let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
Dan. Let me ask you a question. How far do you think BSV is out from coming out with a competition to library, D2, D-Link, YouTube? How far do you think away the technology is from getting to a point where we could stream this show instead of YouTube? We could stream it on some type of a BSV service. And then from there, if we decide to push it out on YouTube as well, how far do you think BSV technology is away from that?
Well, that's really kind of hard to say, but I mean, ultimately, that's what we can do on BSV is sort of compete with the whole rest of the internet. And you know, long term, there isn't any reason for there to be other crypto coins.
Correct, which I
they're-
totally agree.
Like the thing that's good about money is the fact that everybody uses it. So ultimately there's just going to be one that everybody uses, and that's kind of the best case scenario. That's the one that allows the greatest benefit to people. So I see the altcoins really as distractions for people who don't understand how Bitcoin really works and what it's good for. And yeah, I mean, like I see the crypto coin competition as being a Highlander kind of thing. And the winning coin is the one that's going to kill all of the other ones.
Correct.
It's not the one that's going to live in harmony with the rest.
But when in human history have we ever lived with a single currency? So to me, that's a cool idea, but it's still theory, and it needs to be proved out. You know, we've lived in a world.
But it is possible with BS. It is possible with
It's
BSV.
possible, yeah, it's possible. But I think
Is that
we have a lot of adoption ahead of us. I mean, we have you know, a charismatic.
I think the point though as well is that it's possible. It's possible right now. If for some reason, who knows, whatever event was to occur, and tomorrow everybody in the world was to join BSV, Daniel, how confident would you be that BSV would be able to handle all that traffic, all those transactions?
Well, if they all join tomorrow, I think we might see some trouble. There's still a lot of upgrading the network to do, but I mean, I don't think it'll be that long before we'll be ready for everyone. And also, proving theories is what we do in science, but it's not what we do in investment and entrepreneurship. When you invest, you have to prepare for the real future, whatever that actually is. And the real future can be completely different from anything that's ever happened before in the past. It's just your job to understand how things really work and be ready for what will happen.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's what I really feel. See, I've spent since, like, I would say April of 2018, I started really getting into dApps. On Ethereum first, because that was the only place that they existed, until it just got, you know, the depth of the dApps required too much transactional or too much computational power, and it was costing too much to you know, to run those dApps. Well, then, you know, Tron ported over Solidity, so all those Ethereum developers were able to easily just move directly over to Tron, and then you had near instant transactions at very low costs. And, you know, and then there's, you know, but then again, you know, Tron is a distributor or a delegated proof of stake, you know, of only 27, you know,
So that right there on its own, it's not worth it then, right? Just for those reasons, because it should be a proof of work point, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, every proof of stake is also Pennywise the clown.
It's a matter of perspective. I mean, to me, owning.
I think Steam was a proof of stake,
you
right?
can either spend your money on a lot of coins and have a greater stake so that you can become a super representative and you can manage the network, or you could have a lot of money and buy a lot of computers and do it. Either way, if you got a lot of money, you're gonna fucking be the king.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the best coin to earn on right now?
The best coin to earn on right now?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I choose to earn on a lot of them so that I'm diversified, because that's my hedge into my investment into the future. And as things prove out, I'll keep migrating to the directions that they're moving into. And that's why I see a ton of promise in BSV.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why.
and the biggest promise, in my opinion, because for example, Steam it, I thought it was so cool at first, right? But you only get rewards for the first 2 days, and then it's done, right? With BSV and a Twetch account, your account can literally earn generations and generations and generations beyond you. And right now with slash pay, in my opinion, it is the best way for people to tip content creators right now.
Right.
How do you feel about that? Being that you're on other platforms like Library, you're probably on Steam, like with the DTube, right? Which I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, like it does make sense, diversify. If you're uploading it on here, why not upload it on there? See, my take would be is I would upload it on there, get the little rewards, say, Hunter, we made a bag, let's go switch it into BSV. But that's just,
Yeah. No, that's definitely a way. I'm a little more too lazy to go and upload it onto every single thing. I'm just, I do, I remember I started my YouTube channel thinking, oh, like I want to get big. I've just enjoyed the ride now, especially in the last year, it's just been, what I've enjoyed more is just the opportunities that it's created for myself to meet other people, to collaborate. I've gone to a lot of conferences. I enjoy that. I enjoy the social aspect. That's why I like this Twitch cast. What you guys are doing. I think it's fantastic. I'm glad it was going on at a time where I was kind of awake and at it. To get on here.
Man, Hunter's been ranting and raving about you, brother.
Yeah, we've been
I've been trying to connect.
Yeah, we've been trying to connect for a minute, and I mean, I was even, and who knows when I do get back to Thailand, which probably will be, because something that happened to me is like, I mean, now it's like almost a month ago. Thailand shut their borders 12 hours before my flight back to Bangkok. So now I've just been stuck in the States. And, just have to ride this thing out.
Well, I jumped in late on the conversation, so I don't want to diverge from that. So we'll get on again and talk about some other things.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Daniel's been going over a little bit over Boost. As a matter of fact, that 24-hour live stream that we've been talking about, Hunter, for the Happening, like doing a live stream kind of around the Happening, but it's not necessarily about the Happening. Yeah, when the Happening happens, we'll do like a little, cool segment on it. But Daniel signed up for a 2-hour slot. We're pretty excited about it.
Oh, great. That's awesome. That's great.
Complete creative freedom to do exactly whatever he wants. And he jumped on randomly. It was just me on my own for a moment. Animal, I hope you're doing all right, brother. I hope everything's okay with you. He said that, I don't know, maybe somebody isn't feeling well. So Dookie's manning the chat, and I was hoping somebody jumps in, and in jumps Cosmos. So Cosmos, thank you so far for being in here. Now, so again, going with Boost, I truly think it's like a historic thing, and with all the implementations that you could use, and you already see it being used on Baymail, for example. Wait till that thing is on Twitch. And the reason why I kind of brought up the streaming services, I've already heard in the pipes that streaming on BSV is probably in our near future. How far away exactly? I'm not exactly sure, but it's not that far away. People are figuring out these solutions, how we can stream and put it on the blockchain. But going on with Daniel, there's going to be some amazing things that's going to be possible with that.
Have you paid attention to Veribit?
I'm sorry?
Have you paid attention to Veribit?
No,
No, what's that?
Veribit? Is that how
Yeah,
you spell it?
let me tell you real quick. Just looking at this conversation. Yeah, Veribit. So even like if you want to follow, like their Twitter is @Veribit. And it's essentially, it's a, it can be used for KYC because it's more like a module in that your identity is locked to you. And so that if institutions adopt this, then you can plug in, it's already verified. So it's not like you need to send in your photocopy ID and passport and all this stuff over and over and over again. It's already been verified in a single place, and you get to choose where to plug it into. They also have an entire sort of like Google Drive suite of tools, and it's completely a BSV project.
Oh, that's cool.
It's Roy Murphy.
I think so. Somebody asked where you're at, Golden Yogi. I think you're in Phoenix, right? Are you in
Yeah,
Phoenix?
currently I'm in Phoenix. Yeah.
Roy Murphy is
Dan,
Murphicles, right?
Have you heard about Veribit, Dan? Does that sound familiar to you? And what's the guy's name? Because I really want to look into that. If it's a BSV project, because again, I'm like all in with BSV. From what I've read from all the people, it's the best point to transmit data. It scales. I mean, obviously, and this is from somebody that works in Bitcoin. If everybody in the world was to get on tomorrow, there'd be network problems. But they are literally working on being able to onboard the entire world. That's a huge ambitious goal. So Veribit, we're gonna have to look into that one, Hunter.
Is that Roy from Twitter @Murphicles?
Yeah, Murph Sickles. Yeah.
Murphicles. This guy is awesome. He just contributes so much. I always love his posts.
Yeah, I've been following him. Strangely enough, I first followed him in BitConnect. It's interesting to just see how people move in all around in this space. I try not to hold grudges or gross perspectives on people and give them all the blessing to be who they are.
So
It's very important.
One thing
it's very
about
important not to judge people for their past, for sure.
And about Veribit, it looks like I went to their site. It's veribit.io, spelled the way you said, Golden Yogi, and it does have a countdown here. So 37 days, 1 hour 9 minutes. So it looks like you were saying like, it's on the forefront coming out, and
they've been in like closed beta testing. Like I've been, I look at my DM and Twitter to him. It's like, that's who I usually go to when I have questions on like recently, one of my most recent questions is like, help me understand so that I can make this argument in a solid way about the benefit of zero conf and like how it's not going to get double spent. Because it seems to be like, I was at this Bitcoin meetup in Bangkok where there's one that happens every Monday night and it's got a good following. And I was the only, person wanting to talk about BSV. You had a lot of, thanks, Hunter. I will follow my side. Everybody, most of them, because the thing is, most of these guys there essentially were retired because they were BTC holders from like 2011, 2012. So your bags back then are definitely able to carry you financially right now. If you were smart enough to keep or if you have your bag, I'm gonna say smart, but just if you have your bags.
Hey,
Anyway,
but
he's a smart dude. I like what he's contributing. I look forward to this product, and yeah.
I think you might have not gotten the memo though, that nothing is being built on BSV. I'm not sure. I should DM Mercicles and just let him know that.
whoever said that has never checked out BSV before. But man, this has been a pretty freaking amazing stream. It's gone by so quick. At the beginning, I was kind of like, shoot, I'm in here by myself. I'm seeing the stream build up a little bit. I'm like, oh, somebody come in here and help me out. It's not easy doing this on your own, but I want to go through everybody really quick. Golden Yogi, any final thoughts for this little sporadic thing? We had a little hiccup there at the end. That's why it kind of turned out like this, as opposed to what we've been doing with the Discord. But what do you think about however, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that I think we need, and I would love to talk about this on a with a more time frame, but more of the dApps that I'm seeing in Tron and on IOST and stuff like that. I know that they can be built on BSV even right now, because they're not like streaming power. They're fairly lightweight, and because of the low cost transactional, they can definitely work. So I mean, I'm not a developer, so I'd like to see more of that, because I think that will bring in more people, like dice games that earn, there was a thing that I watched in the dApp space. You can definitely cut me off, but of a like when you wager in a just a simple dice game or whatever, if you wager, for every amount that you wager, you're earning back a dividend token that you can take that and then stake it for ownership in the dividend pool that the casino holds. So it's a joint held entity by everybody who's been participating. These kinds of things I think will bring more people into the everyday
Because
usership.
it'll give you more things to use it on.
It'll give you more things to use it on, but it'll also it'll help the miners will love it, because there's going to be when I ever mine these tokens, whatever, because I'm not a gambler, but I'll go on there and I'll set it at the lowest possible, like I have a 96% chance of winning that roll, and just hit it on auto and just let it go. And let it go for like hours and hours and hours.
They kind of have things like that. We were talking about it on the stream. There's a site called fun.io, PHUN.io. You could use that. And Hunter, what about you, man? You got any final thoughts for right now?
Well, a couple. I'd like to get back on with Golden Yogi and talk more about their stuff, some different rabbit holes we're going down. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and then ask Daniel. Dookie wants to know what kind of files you can upload to Bitcoin Files.
Well, right now, anything under 10 megabytes, but we'll be we're revamping the Bitcoin Files site, and we're going to remove that that limit or greatly increase it. My final thoughts.
So it doesn't matter what kind of file, as long as
what? Well, any kind of file.
Any kind of file, okay.
Yeah, just the limit now is 10 megabytes, but we're gonna have a much bigger limit, or no limit. I'm not sure what's gonna happen exactly with it, but well, I think you guys should probably stay away from Roy Murphy, and maybe he's been rehabilitated, but BitConnect, that was a Ponzi scheme. And I don't think that something he's working on sounds very good to me.
I'll definitely be taking it into research. Always something you got to look at. And aside from that, you want to leave us with anything else, Dan? I mean, like, where can they find you? Anything else you want to leave them? One of a wise quote, something that you're just thinking of, that you've been thinking of during the quarantine? Any good advice for the people out there in the entire world, not just the BSV community, just in the entire world in general? What is your advice for them?
My advice for the world is it's possible for everyone to be wrong about the future other than you. Consensus future prediction doesn't work. And follow me on Twitch, user24.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. Manifest, were you still in here? You want to hit us
Yeah,
up?
I'm in here. I want to comment that it's just a travesty that I should be given the last word over Daniel here, but I do want to look at this. You know, being that this is a Friday, we're kind of wrapping the week up here. I think we'd still have the Outside the Box coming tomorrow night, if I remember correctly, which is when Hunter kind of goes into a voyage about awareness and its special relationship that we can use to foster our own growth and potential. But I really want to use this last word to look back at In the Box, how it's sort of grown in the past week. I'm very thankful to have had Golden Yogi on, providing some great commentary, and having Daniel on for this Friday episode, when I really feel like, we started off with Joshua Hensley talking about Daniel's video called What I Discovered. I think I discovered the business model of Enchain. So I want to reiterate that that was an excellent video, and it really pushed me down a rabbit hole of listening to Daniel's wisdom. But aside from just that, I want to talk about In the Box being a more and more coming into its space as basically being a just like BSV itself. It's not necessarily, BSV is not a tool to achieve a particular end, but it is basically the tool that enables agency and autonomy for people to achieve their own ends. And so that's really what I'm seeing in the box. I'm seeing it as a space that doesn't necessarily take a particular stance about certain things, but really exists as kind of a medium where some ideas that can be beneficial to lots of people are allowed to be expressed. So I'm very thankful for that, and thanks for my last word.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks, brother. Great.
I guess I'll just kick it off here and say that I'm gracious that every time we do something, that the community comes together. Like I said, started off with one person, ended up with 5 people. So I'm really gracious for that. I'm really looking forward to the 24-hour live stream. I think that's going to be really cool. And I'm really, I kind of like the perspective that Yogi brought, with, diversifying your stuff, putting it out. Maybe we'll try not to be lazy, and maybe we'll try to upload it on every other platform, get those shit coins and convert them into BSV, bring them into this economy. It's been, I think it's been a good week for Monday through Friday thing. We've stayed pretty darn good on the 11 to 1 a.m. thing. We had such a great conversation that everybody brought to the table: Golden Yogi, Hunter Blessed, Manifestable, and definitely Cosmos Sagittarius. A lot of different views on the channel. And let us know in the comments. Tell us what you felt that you agree with or disagree with, or whatever the case is. And thank you so much for joining us again every freaking day, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, Hunter, we got off tomorrow. We got off.
No, we're doing Outside the Box. We're doing Outside the Box once a week, where we get together and kind of like put together. It started around non-duality and just kind of like people's experience with that.
And that's gonna be directly
kind of
like
the,
in a
I
Zoom
don't
chat
know,
or Discord or whatever,
because
right?
we're getting. Yeah, no, we're gonna do a Zoom, and then we'll put it out after, not live. But anybody's welcome to jump in with that tomorrow
Where's
night.
the easiest way that they could get to that? Do you think it's better for them to go on Discord and find it? Should they hit you up on Twitch? Where is the best way if they want to do this? Because last week,
Well, I'll make a post on
Twitch.
Twitch.
That group of people that you
It was started with just me and Manifestival, and ended up to be like six, 7 people jumped in, and it was really pretty sweet, sweet scenes. I'll do a post on Twetch, or if you're in the Discord, one or the other. Just keep your eyes open and see if it flows. Peace out, you guys. Nice to see you all, and
Yeah.
we'll see you again.
Thank
Freaking
you.
love
Thanks,
you all.
guys.
Thank you all so much. Thank you again. You guys have an amazing night. Twetchcast.com, InTheBox.com. I mean, InTheBox.io is going to be another website that will be coming up. Hit us up there. Love you all so much. I got to walk to the room to turn off the stream, so it'll be an awkward silence for a few moments. Peace.
Peace all.
Good night, guys. Good
Yeah, you
morning.
say we're-
Awesome. Good night, everyone
users.
else.
Bye, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Bye,
yeah.
Daniel. Thanks
See you,
for
Daniel.
sharing
Take care,
your
buddy.
wisdom.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, awesome, man. We're at in the box is user 7963. He didn't mention that on Twitch. And thanks for watching, everyone. Peace.
Good night, Hunter. Good morning. Have a great day, brother.
Thanks, brother. I'll see you tomorrow, man. We'll talk tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks,
All right.
brother.
Have a good one.
Peace.